I changed my attitude towards him. Still, I never had special feelings for him. Then, the day before yesterday, I found out that he and Hillary are cousins, and they never told me. I learned that all those times I happened to run into him, it wasn't by accident, but because he bribed Hillary. When their family connection was exposed, he confessed his affection for me. He said that he did everything just to be close to me, explained Clara. Ariana was also very surprised when she heard that Hans and Hillary were cousins, but she could always see that Clara's accidental encounters with Hans had something to do with Hillary, so she wasn't surprised that he had bribed her. Even then, Ariana didn't think it was unacceptable that Hans and Hillary kept their family connection a secret from Clara. After all, they didn't mean to hurt her and accept him either, replied Clara. You didn't reject or accept him, which means you like him, at least a little, stated Ariana. It couldn't be more obvious to her. If Clara didn't like him at all, she would have directly rejected him, and wouldn't have been bothered by it. But Ariana was now. Clara was embarrassed. She decided to be honest with her. He's indeed impressive, but I don't think I'm in love with him. I didn't want to make the wrong choice, so I didn't say yes. I don't know. I have no idea what to do now. She sighed. I understand. I never had the idea of becoming his girlfriend, so you were surprised when he confessed his affection for you. You weren't prepared for it, so you just need some time. Actually, I think Hans is a great guy. If you have a good impression of him, I think you should get to know more about him. Don't feel like you need to rush. You can make the decision after being sure of your feelings for him, counseled Ariana. She wasn't telling Clara to lead Hans on, but it took time for people to get to know each other better. If they weren't sure whether they really loved one another, it would be irresponsible if they rushed to get together. Moreover, if a boy really liked a girl, he would be willing to wait. He wouldn't think it was a waste of his time, and he wouldn't easily give up. If he gave up on her after only a short time, he would have proved that he didn't like the girl very much. Yeah, that's what I said to him, responded Clara, although she was also worried that Hans might be disappointed. She had already made up her mind. If he gave up just because he needed to wait for a while longer, it meant that he didn't really like her. She also wouldn't keep him waiting for too long, because she didn't want to waste his time. If she still hesitated to be his girlfriend after spending more time with him, she would apologize to him and then leave him. Are you all right with Hillary? Asked Ariana. I was mad at first, but my anger went away after a while. It wasn't a big deal, and she didn't mean to hurt me. She simply wanted to set me up with Hans. We're fine now, explained Clara. That's great, Ariana replied. As they were driving, Ariana received a call from Evelyn. Hi, Ariana.
Hauser sits down with Dr. Christoph Guter, founder and CEO at G-Tech Medical Engineering, to explore the evolution of brain-computer interfaces and the path forward to a mind-controlled future. Discover how G-Tech is unlocking new possibilities in neurorehabilitation. Visit hauser.com/empowering-innovation to listen to the full episode.
I'm in Echo Mountain now, and I heard that the shooting of the Legend of the Woodland Fairy is beginning tonight. Are you going to the live ceremony? Asked Evelyn. She just left the World of Immortals today, and was ready to go back to UCLA. But as soon as she came out, she heard that the filming of the new drama, produced by Ariana's company, would be starting at Echo Mountain today. So she decided to ask Ariana whether she would go. If Ariana was coming, she would wait for her. They could go check it out, and then head to UCLA together. Yeah, I'm on my way there now. If you want to go with me, wait for me. I should be there in 20 minutes, said Ariana. Great, I'll wait for you, replied Evelyn. Then hung up. What's Evelyn doing at Echo Mountain? Clara wondered aloud. Ariana had put her phone on speaker, so Clara heard their conversation.
The Prime Ministerial.
Ariana. She obviously couldn't tell Clara that Evelyn's home was in the World of Immortals, which was next to Echo Mountain. Oh, okay, Clara responded with a shrug. 20 minutes later, Ariana and Clara reached the parking lot at the foot of Echo Mountain. As soon as they arrived there, Ariana sensed several immortals nearby. It was where immortals usually went in and out of the World of Immortals, so it made sense that there were many around. Because there weren't any visitors at Echo Mountain during this season, Ariana suddenly remembered that Evelyn was totally absent during the vacation, so she asked, "What have you been busy with during the break? I felt as if you disappeared. You said nothing in our WeChat group and didn't even reply to my messages." "Would you believe it if I told you my family dumped me deep in a mountain for training?" Evelyn asked. She needed a persuasive reason. "Fine, I accept that explanation," shrugged Clara. She didn't doubt it, because she knew Evelyn must have received a lot of intense training, given her extraordinary skills. In addition, Evelyn had told them before that she spent almost every vacation training. Although Clara wasn't clear about Evelyn's family background, she assumed that she came from a military family, because she was an exceptional fighter. She didn't ask for more details, and neither did Evelyn offer any. After that, they climbed up the mountain. Due to the high altitude of Echo Mountain, there were cable cars that transported tourists to the top. However, Ariana and her friends were athletic and in good shape, so it wasn't difficult for them to climb up a high mountain. Plus, they had enough time to get to the top of the mountain on foot, so they decided not to take a cable car and simply hiked. It might take ordinary people slightly more than an hour to get to the top, but Ariana and her friends only spent 40 minutes on the trail. They didn't even go their fastest. If they sped up, they could arrive within half an hour. If they ran, it would be even faster. Actually, if it was only Ariana and Evelyn, they could get to the top within a few minutes by using their magical powers to fly. However, there were visitors around, so they couldn't do that today. Because some people also heard that the shooting of the Legend of the Woodland Fairy would begin at Echo Mountain today, they came for fun. Most of the filming would be done at Echo Temple, which was the main landmark in Echo Mountain. There used to be an ancient sect that lived there, so it was very suitable for the drama. Although it had been rebuilt, it kept the same style. Normally, not many people visited there, but today there were about 200 people milling around. Among them, 40 people were the cast and crew of the Legend of the Woodland Fairy. About a dozen were guests invited by Hamish, while 6 people were representatives from other entertainment companies. About 20 people were reporters, while the rest of the people were visitors, and people who came to watch the launch ceremony. The launch ceremony wouldn't be a huge affair, because Hamish preferred to keep it simple. He only invited familiar faces, so there weren't that many guests. They would do more publicity after the shooting began. By the time Ariana and her friends arrived at the destination, the launch ceremony would begin half an hour later. All the staff were present, and the equipment was ready. Only a few of the actors were absent, but they would arrive soon by cable car. Because there was no road towards the top at Echo Mountain, the crew moved their equipment up in the cable cars. The equipment was heavy, but they divided it into multiple groups and moved them up in several rounds. Each piece of equipment weighed about 100 pounds at the most, so each cable car could move several pieces of equipment up the mountain. As soon as Ariana showed up, everyone said hi to her. Because Clara was an actress, and she attended the ceremony as a member of the cast, she went to stand with the other actors. If she stayed with Ariana all the time, there might be rumors about the way that Clara gained the role. Actors from other entertainment companies didn't welcome Clara, because she was Ariana's friend. They believed that the only reason Clara was cast was because of Ariana. Only actors from Royal Entertainment were aware of Clara's acting skills and Hamish's emphasis on fairness, so they knew that she won the role because of her talent, not her relationship with Ariana. Once Clara walked over, an actress approached her and said, "Clara, I'm so envious of you. You came here along with Goddess Ariana. Everyone knows that you two are friends. You're so lucky that you have a close friend who's a successful businesswoman, so you could easily get such an important role." The actress's name was Cassidy Brewer, and she seemed naive and kind on the surface, but her words were really harsh. The truth was, the only reason someone would say something like that in public was if they were naive and dumb, or if they were calculating and rude. In Cassidy's case, Clara suspected it was the latter. Although Cassidy was only 24 years old, she wasn't new to the entertainment industry. In fact, she had been a working actress for 5 years. Therefore, she couldn't be that naive. She was good at acting, but it was clear her behavior was just an act. No one, especially the staff in the entertainment industry, would be fooled by her. Clara wasn't mad at her behavior, however, because in her mind, she was merely a nobody. Therefore, she didn't bother to pay much attention to the unimportant actress. With a vague smile, she responded, "Cassidy, I relied on my own abilities, not my connections, to get the role of Forsythia. Please don't cause misunderstandings by saying that. Besides, Hamish enjoys a good reputation in this industry. We all know what kind of person he is." Clara talked to her politely, because that was how successful people behaved in the entertainment industry. Even if they were competitors, or even enemies, they had to be polite to each other, at least in front of other people. Upon hearing Clara's reply, Cassidy panicked a little. She thought that Clara was a girl without much social experience, but unexpectedly, she was much smarter than she thought, and easily saw through her. Cassidy acted innocent and explained, "Clara, don't get me wrong. I didn't mean that. I believe that you relied on your own talent to get this role. I just heard a rumor that you were selected because of your connections. I was confused. Please don't be mad at me." Clara was Ariana's friend, and even Hamish approved of her, so Cassidy didn't dare to offend her. She only said that to Clara earlier because she was jealous, but Clara clearly wasn't easy to bully. Clara didn't believe a word Cassidy just said, so she asked her meaningfully, "Oh, can you tell me who told you that rumor?" Cassidy knew that Clara didn't believe her, but she still continued to act innocent. "I heard some people talking about it a few days ago, but I can't remember who started the rumor," she claimed. Clara responded, "Cassidy, you joined the entertainment industry years ago. You shouldn't be so naive to believe whatever other people say without proof. It won't do you any good if you spread rumors that aren't true." She deliberately reminded Cassidy to be more careful in the future. Since it was clear that Cassidy was just jealous of her, Clara didn't bother to make it a serious issue. "You're right, thanks," replied Cassidy with a fake smile. She was angry for being embarrassed, but she had to be nice on the surface. In the argument against Clara, she had totally failed. Even though they talked in low voices, several people around them still heard their conversation, but none of them got involved. However, they secretly disdained Cassidy for what she said. Whether Clara got the role through her abilities or connections, Cassidy shouldn't make it public. Even if Clara won the role using her connections, it was undeniable that she was good at acting. In addition, her appearance was very suitable for Forsythia. She was a tomboy, but she had a very gentle look when she was quiet. Therefore, strangers might think that she was easy to bully. Only people who knew her well wouldn't be deceived by her appearance. Anaya Williams was standing nearby. She didn't hear what they were talking about, but she could see that it wasn't a pleasant conversation. She also knew that Cassidy wasn't as innocent as she seemed on the surface, so she guessed that she must have insulted Clara somehow. When Clara walked over, Anaya asked her with concern, "Are you all right?" Anaya and Clara had exchanged phone numbers, and they sometimes chatted with each other, so they had a good relationship. Accordingly, Anaya cared about Clara and wasn't just gossiping. "I'm fine. Do I seem affected?" "I'm not easy to bully," Clara replied with a smile. Anaya was relieved and agreed that Clara wasn't easy to bully. Meanwhile, Ariana was talking with Hamish and some other guests who came to the launch ceremony of The Legend of the Woodland Fairy. After a while, she walked over to chat with Anaya, Julian, and Audrey. Soon after that, Timothy arrived. Everyone was ready 10 minutes later, so when it was time for the ceremony to begin, a host went on the stage to make a speech. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch ceremony of The Legend of the Woodland Fairy. This drama is being produced by Royale Entertainment, directed by famous director Hamish McClintock, and stars Timothy Colombo, Anaya Williams, Julian Romanoff, Audrey Summers, and other well-known actors," the host announced, and the audience burst into applause. "Today, the crew will formally start filming this wonderful story. Let's wish The Legend of the Woodland Fairy a smooth filming process and a high rating," the host exclaimed. The moment he finished, all the important guests, main lunch with the others, and because Evelyn came with her, she stayed too. After the meal, some people left, while the whole cast and crew of The Legend of the Woodland Fairy stayed for a meeting. Ariana didn't join them, so she went to walk around with Evelyn. When Clara was done, they would leave together. Ariana and Evelyn went to a clearing at the foot of the mountain. When it was only the two of them, Evelyn remarked, "Oh, Ezekiel's house in the world of immortals has been built. I walked by it the other day, and I took some photos. Do you want to see it?" Saying that, Evelyn took out her phone and showed Ariana the pictures. Ariana looked at them and thought it was beautiful. It was Ezekiel's house, but it was also another home for her and Henry. They were immortals, so they could live much longer than regular humans, which meant they couldn't stay in the mortal world forever. After many years, people who were the same age as them would die, while they still aged slowly. It would be strange and cause unnecessary trouble if they stayed in the mortal world. As a result, they would have to disappear from the public by then. "There are more pictures," said Evelyn, and Ariana swiped through the photos on the phone. She noticed Felix's back in the third picture, which she immediately recognized. Because Ariana didn't know that Felix was forbidden to leave the world of immortals, she wasn't surprised that he was there. He stayed at home to cultivate these days, but he sometimes went out for a walk. Luckily, Astor only forbade him to leave the world of immortals, not the bulbous family's house. Therefore, Felix went to see Ezekiel's house once in a while. Of course, whenever he went out, Astor's people would follow him. "When will you move in?" asked Evelyn. "When it's not appropriate for us to continue to stay here anymore. Once our mortal friends start aging, we'll leave the mortal world and live with other identities. Otherwise, people might think we're monsters. I don't want to cause unnecessary trouble," explained Ariana with a sigh. The truth was, she felt very sad that all of her friends would become old, while she would still stay young. It meant that they would soon leave her. Her parents and other family members would leave her as well. "Yeah, it makes me sad when I realize that my friends will age much faster than me," Evelyn remarked. "I don't have many friends in the world of immortals, because there aren't as many people who are my age, and they spend most of their time cultivating. I went to school in the outside world, but I never stayed friends with anyone for long. I never had a close relationship until I met you. Although I had to keep my real family background a secret at first, we became real friends, and now I'm friends with Clara and the other girls I met because of you. So it's really hard to see my close friends age faster than me," Evelyn sighed. "All right, stop talking about that now. No matter what, we have to face it in the future," said Ariana. It was sad, but she persuaded herself to accept it. "Yeah, let's drop that topic," Evelyn agreed, and stopped thinking about it. They chatted as they walked to a small group of trees with no one around. Because they were talking about immortals, they stayed away from the crowd. However, Ariana suddenly felt an immortal rapidly running towards them. The immortal seemed weak, which meant he or she was at an average level, about the same level as Evelyn. Ariana sensed the immortal before Evelyn did, so she directly turned around to see who it was. It was a pretty girl who looked about 17 years old. She looked angry and was staring straight at Evelyn. Obviously, Evelyn was her target. "Someone's coming for you," Ariana exclaimed. Hearing that, Evelyn turned around and also saw the girl rushing towards her. She immediately frowned and looked annoyed. Obviously, she didn't want to see the girl, but since she was already coming, she didn't avoid her. "What a shameless girl. Can't she leave me alone for a while?" Evelyn complained. Ariana didn't ask what was going on, because it couldn't be more obvious that there was a grudge between them. She understood that she might cause an inconvenience if she stayed, so she asked, "Do you need me to leave?" "No need, it's fine," replied Evelyn. She didn't mind if Ariana stayed. Before long, the girl reached Ariana and Evelyn. The moment the girl saw Ariana's face clearly, she got jealous of her beauty, but she soon showed disdain because she thought that she was just immortal. Therefore, she ignored her and turned to stare at Evelyn. "Hey, where is Logan?" she asked rudely. "Why are you asking me?" Evelyn argued in an unpleasant tone. "I need to see him," said the girl. "Go find him if you want to see him. Why are you asking me? I don't know where he is right now," retorted Evelyn. Actually, she knew where her brother was, but she refused to tell the girl. This girl's name was Giselle Ballas, and Evelyn didn't think she deserved her older brother. Although Giselle was a member of an influential family, she had a bad character. Giselle was actually Arista Bulbus's daughter. She inherited her mother's last name because the Bulbus family was more powerful than her father's family. Giselle didn't believe Evelyn's reply, so she shouted, "How could you not know? You must know where he is." "So, I wouldn't tell you even if I did know. Miss Bulbus, let me be honest with you. You're not my older brother's type. Please stay away from him. My family might not care much about a girl's family background and abilities, but we do care about her character, and you are not a good girl," Evelyn accused outright. Ariana slightly cocked her eyebrow when she heard Evelyn call the girl Miss Bulbus. Was she another relative of Ava's? Giselle angrily shouted, "Evelyn, don't be so harsh. Why do you think I'm not a good girl? Stop damaging my reputation." "I'm not damaging your reputation. It's not just my impression of you. It's well known to everyone. No one likes you. Only you think of yourself as a good girl," Evelyn mocked. Because she hated Giselle, she didn't hesitate to embarrass her. Giselle was furious at the humiliation. She knew she couldn't defeat Evelyn in the argument, so she decided to use violence. Without hesitation, she rushed forward to attack her. Ariana saw it happen, but she didn't get involved for the time being. Instead, she stepped to the side and watched the scene unfold. She knew Giselle and Evelyn were at the same level, so Giselle shouldn't be able to hurt Evelyn. However, if Evelyn couldn't win, she would help her. It wasn't the first time that Evelyn had fought against Giselle, so she immediately reacted once she was attacked. Although they were at the same level, Giselle was more skilled than Evelyn. Because Evelyn attended a university in the mortal world, she didn't spend much time on cultivation. On the other hand, Giselle studied at a private school in the world of immortals, so she had more time to cultivate. Because Evelyn wasn't as skilled as Giselle, she started to be at a disadvantage and sustained a few injuries. Luckily, there wasn't a huge gap between their abilities, so the injuries weren't serious. "Do you need help?" Ariana asked Evelyn, once she couldn't stand it any longer. "Yes, please. I don't want to waste more time on her," Evelyn agreed, sounding relieved. She was actually about to turn to Ariana for help at that moment, but Ariana spoke first. There was usually never a winner when Evelyn and Giselle fought, and they would only stop when they were out of strength. However, Giselle was angered by Evelyn today, so she had no intention of stopping. As a result, if the fight continued, Evelyn would certainly lose. "Evelyn, don't be so naive," Giselle snorted. She found it extremely funny when Ariana said that she could help Evelyn. She thought that she was only a mortal, so it was impossible for her to defeat an immortal. "Let's see," interjected Ariana, then immediately joined the fight. She didn't expose the fact that she was also an immortal, and didn't use magical power. She only used her abilities as a mortal. Because Ariana was fighting, along with Evelyn, she didn't need to use all of her abilities. Even without her magical energy, she was unbelievably strong. Therefore, together with Evelyn, she quickly caused Giselle to be at a disadvantage. Giselle was amazed, because she didn't expect a mortal to be so strong. After that, she used her magical energy to attack Ariana, but Evelyn stopped it. Because Evelyn saw that Ariana didn't expose the fact that she was also an immortal, she knew how to work with her. At that moment, Ariana attacked Giselle, moving fast and accurately punching her in the jaw. Under the force, Giselle backed up a few steps, creating a distance between them. Afterwards, the two sides stood glaring at each other, but nobody moved. Giselle didn't move again, because she knew that she was no match for Ariana and Evelyn when they teamed up. If she continued to fight against them, she would be injured. Looking at Ariana, Giselle was full of surprise. She was jealous of her beauty and fighting skills, and she was also mad that she had teamed up with Evelyn. "Who are you?" she snarled. She wanted to know more about Ariana, so that she could pay her back for getting involved and causing her to lose the fight. She always harbored grudges. "My name is Ariana Young. If you want to pay me back, come find me at UCLA. I'm studying economics there," Ariana replied, with an evil smile. She was clearly challenging Giselle. Giselle understood that very well, so she got angrier. She didn't say anything further to Ariana, because she already learned what she wanted to know. She didn't doubt that Ariana was lying, because her attitude proved that there was no need for her to lie. Evelyn was aware that Giselle would try to pay Ariana back, but she said nothing. After all, Giselle was no match for her. Giselle was reluctant to give in, but she understood that she couldn't win today. Therefore, she stopped arguing with them and only threatened, "Evelyn, if I see you alone next time, I'll make you beg for my mercy." After that, she whirled around and walked away. She didn't threaten Ariana because she was immortal. If she threatened a mortal, Evelyn might tell on her. It was very normal for immortals to compete against each other. As long as no one was seriously injured, the Ansera wouldn't get involved. Their families wouldn't bother to punish them either. Many immortals didn't get along and secretly fought against one another. They usually made it very clear before they had a competition, and they made sure there was a witness and evidence to prove that both sides agreed to the fight. "Fine, then I'll tell my older brother how malicious you are," Evelyn shouted to Giselle's back. Hearing that, Giselle stumbled. She turned around and gave Evelyn a glare. Without a word, she left. When Giselle was gone, Ariana asked, "Who was that girl?" To my family. Therefore, she keeps on bothering Logan, or at least she tries to. He rarely comes back to the world of immortals nowadays, so she can't see him very often. As a result, she started to bother me, trying to force me to take her to see him. I honestly don't know how she could be so shameless, sighed Evelyn. She really disliked Giselle. Unfortunately, she wasn't stronger than her, or she would teach her a lesson. There aren't many good people in the Bulbous family, agreed Ariana. She had met several members of the family so far, and each of them was very hateful. Only Ava and Felix were pleasant to get along with. Right, there are only a few good people in the Bulbous family, like Bodhi's family. Their patriarch's family is the most hateful, Evelyn remarked, then added, "Get this, the Bulbous family's patriarch actually had a daughter with his first wife. The girl's name was Ava. I heard she was bullied by her stepmother and step-siblings ever since she was little. She didn't get any attention from her father until she made great progress in cultivation. However, she ran away from the Bulbous family and fell in love with a mortal. There is a rule in the world of immortals that immortals can't be together with mortals. If anyone dares to break the rule, he or she will be deprived of all their abilities as an immortal before being kicked out of the world of immortals. But I heard Ava was killed, and it's rumored that her father had something to do with her death. I don't know whether it's true, but everyone secretly believes that." Saying that, Evelyn gave a sigh. If it's true, the Bulbous family's patriarch is really cruel. He killed his own daughter. Even though she made a mistake, that isn't a reason for him to kill her. Evelyn had a deep sympathy for Ava. Ariana didn't say anything, even though she was already familiar with Ava's sad story. Astor had indeed tried to kill his own daughter, though luckily, Ava survived. However, Christopher was dead. That was why Ava and Henry were determined to take revenge. They were almost ready. Before long, they would go to the world of immortals to pay Astor back. Ariana and Evelyn stayed in the small forest for a few more minutes. Then, Clara called Ariana, saying that the meeting was over and they could leave now. After that, Ariana told her to meet them at the car, and they headed in that direction. 5 minutes later, they all met in the parking lot and drove away. How did the meeting go? When will you start filming your scenes? Ariana asked Clara. I'll join them after 3 days. My scenes will take 3 months to film, which is about 2/3 of the total production time, said Clara. Although the filming of her scenes would last 3 months, she would still have time to rest occasionally. She didn't need to be on set every day, so she could go back to her university and attend classes when she was free. Her filming schedule might affect her studies, but that was unavoidable for a student who studied at a film academy. Moreover, their school allowed her to do it. Actually, since the students who studied at the Los Angeles Film Academy all aimed to become famous, they placed a higher priority on getting roles than they did on attending classes. In most industries, it was important for students to finish their education before finding a job. However, the competition was fierce in the entertainment industry.